You have a rare form of leukemia, she said. You don't have much time. How can I give my blood to science? I've taken so many units of blood from so many generous people. Somebody should learn from mine. It's okay. It's my time. I had a good life. I enjoyed it. These were some of the first words that came out of my daddy's mouth when he was told he had weeks to live. A true example of what an incredible daddy he is. I will speak about him in the present tense because I'm writing this as he is still alive. He's told me quite clearly multiple times that he does not want a viewing after he passes where people cry and pity his life. So I'm writing this so that I can read it to him directly. Now, you often hear people say they wish they could have said goodbye and said so many things to their loved ones before they pass, so here I go. Daddy, whenever people say the phrase daddy's little girl, and every time I hear it, I feel like it was made to describe us. With all the things most daughters did with their moms, I did with my daddy. We went shopping together. I'd run errands with him all day, no matter where it was, except Home Depot. I hated Home Depot. Whenever I would see him putting his shoes on, I'd run to put mine on to join him wherever he was going. To this day, I can't buy a new dress without wanting to get Daddy's approval. I used to love helping you fix and build things around the house. You could fix anything. When you saw my Bango collection had become out of control, you built me a stand. When you made me a big girl room, you got me the greatest pink canopy bed that now my son Sajan sleeps in on sleepovers. You instilled in me how to view beauty in so many things. I developed a love for cars from everything you ever showed me or told me when we saw different types of cars on the road. When I started house shopping, I knew I could never buy a house that you didn't love, because your stamp of approval was the most important thing. I knew if you liked it, it was perfect. I still struggle to make decisions about my home without asking you first. Whenever anything isn't working properly in my house, I call you. Until I was 28 years old, you drove me every day to and from all my dance classes and rehearsals, to school and back. You never, ever complained. No matter what time, what the weather was like, you got in the car to pick me up or drop me off, often with no notice or warning. When I decided to pursue dance as a full-time career, you never once told me it wasn't a good idea. Instead, you were happy that I was doing something I enjoyed. When I think about all the things that you, throughout your life, was so determined to do, I admire your courage and insistence. You, at a young age, knew you wanted to see North America. At a time when your family hadn't even traveled outside of Kerala, you were convinced that you would one day see the places you only dreamed about in magazines. I never get tired of hearing about your 10 years at Ooty, where you were one of the only 3 people who owned a car. And every Friday, the local movie theater reserved 2 seats for you to watch the weekly English movie. People waved and treated you like a celebrity, which is exactly who you have always been to me. The story which you were always hesitant to tell us because you were too humble or kind to brag, about you walking into the workplace to find over 50 employees were standing still looking strange. Your quick thinking made you realize they were all being electrocuted. You ran to their safety, pushed them out of the way, pulled the electrical plugs, risking your own safety, and all of them fell to the ground. Every one of those employees were forever grateful to you because they all survived, and you gave them a second chance at life. You were not only my hero, but a hero to so many. Someone who could do nothing wrong, who always knew what to say or do, and always had all the answers. From Ooty to Germany to Canada, you, like many immigrant Indian couples in Canada, had dream plans that you would one day make some money, go back and build a dream home to retire in India. Only a handful of people actually make this dream a reality. You built your dream home and got to see your 2 children have weddings and receptions there, with glitz and glamour. Weddings that could only happen in fantasies happen right in that gorgeous home. I will cherish those memories and always be grateful we could do that. I will never forget watching you sit and draw the house plans, determine how big each room could be. You would erase and redraw over and over again for months, and in the end, a beautiful palace was built, where we laughed, celebrated, gathered with family and friends. Children ran around the giant lawn. You escape the difficulties of harsh Canadian winters with good food, good company, and good sun. Me and Alex have talked about maybe one day building a custom home. And I always imagined that you would help me decide everything in that home, down to the last detail. I can't imagine doing that without you. But you will hear me talking to you constantly, asking questions. So please don't think your job is done. Wherever you are, you will continue to guide me, help me, comfort me. You will send me signs that you are listening, whether it's talking to me in my dreams, or dropping coins, or turning electronics off and on. I don't know. I just need to know you are with me. Otherwise, I don't know how I can go on without you. We live in a generation that is lucky enough to be able to show our children to their grandparents and get to know them so well. Sagen is incredibly lucky to have hundreds of crystal clear memories that he will share with his younger brother one day. He will tell him about his superhero Achicha. The first 5 years of Sage's life, up until last month, were dependent on you and your help when I needed you to help me with Sagen. Picking him up from school, watching him while I go to rehearsals. Sagen knows something is wrong. He has watched you slowly become more sick and has often spent many bedtimes asking God to make Achicha better. I'm sorry our prayers didn't work. I often question why the universe is so cruel. I have a new baby boy coming who desperately wants to meet you. I don't know why God couldn't wait a few more months, but I can only think of one explanation, that maybe you will come back to me through my son. Where I will see you in his eyes every time I hold him. Every time I hold him, I will feel like you are with me, and I will get to spend the rest of my life with you in a new body. I can only dream that he will be the kind man that you are, who all my life has never even spanked me as a child, or even raised his voice. Just like your own father, you stayed gentle and calm. You never yelled at me or insulted me. You always just wanted me to be happy, even at your own expense. 52 years ago, you married Amma. She has very few memories of life before you. I know you worry about her, but please don't worry. We will take care of her always. I will give her whatever happiness she deserves. I will try my best to fill the gap in her heart that you will leave. You begged her yesterday to not live the life of a widow, to live life happy and as normal as it could be. I know this will be the hardest on her, but please continue to talk to her. Show her you are always watching and listening to her prayers. It will be the one comfort you can still give her. Thank you, Daddy, for bringing me into this world 11 years after you had your first child. I can imagine that was a scary thought at the time, but I'm glad you did it. You gave me a life filled with love, where I had never ever doubted you. You always made me feel special, important, and valuable. Although this is a horrible thing to happen, I'm grateful that you are not in pain. You always said, I don't want to suffer. And although I selfishly want you to stay longer, I won't disrespect what you want, especially when you have always given me what I wanted. I don't know how we're going to survive without you, but I will find comfort in knowing you did not suffer. Thank you for treating Alex like your own son and constantly saying how grateful you are to have him in our family. He tells me every day, I'm sorry I couldn't help him means I tried. He spent months researching, reading, and finding answers to help make you better. but in the end, it's out of our hands. He is so proud of how you have handled this with dignity and bravery. You have 4 beautiful grandchildren and 1 more on the way. You had a hand in raising each and every one of them, something not all grandparents are privileged to say. Me, Yekta Chechi, will always try to honor your life for the rest of our lives through our children, and raising them with the same grace and class you have shown us. We love you, Daddy. We can never forget about you, so please don't forget about us. We will not be sad telling others you are gone, but instead, we will be thankful you were here. Love you.